Welcome to another installment of This Is Not Normal on the Political Drain podcast with Drill Sergeant Doug, aka Admin Doug, a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, musician, and family man from Jamaica, now fights for justice and democracy through commentary and humor. Follow him on YouTube at Political Drain and at Sons of Liberty Official as Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug, continues to protect our freedoms.
Where in the world is Mitch McConnell? We need like a jingle like Carmen Sandiego. We might know where he is. We just don't know if he's in his body anymore.
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And we have breaking and potentially very sad news. Today, I've decided to dress up and wear my tie to ensure that this news gets the reverence and respect that it deserves. Let's start here. A few weeks ago, we heard that Mitch McConnell, aka McTurtle, had been hospitalized after being found upside down in his shell. Unconscious on the floor of his DC home. Since then, the following recording from EMS was released, confirming that he had been in cardiac arrest and needed CPR.
Paramedic Engine 3, Medic 3, ALS response unconscious.
Medic 3, communications. East Army and Supervisor, CPR in progress.
Tonight, my fellow Americans, we have learned through multiple sources that he is indeed, allegedly, brain dead, allegedly, but indeed, allegedly, and has been in this condition since he was found on June 14th.
Senator Mitch McConnell, who we've been chasing for weeks now, who has been in the hospital for at least 3 weeks, is reportedly brain dead. Now, we are getting this information from a source that would likely know because she's well connected with Republicans and the MAGA movement. And this is an ongoing problem that is currently developing. There is one reporter who has been tracking this entire thing for a very long time, and she is asking the right questions. Like, who is running Mitch McConnell's office? Before we get to that, I just want to point out that it took until June 22nd for his staff to even acknowledge that McConnell would not be voting that week.
I would normally make a ton of brain dead jokes here if he was just your average MAGA idiot. I would. But I can't do that here. This turtle talked slow, and he looked even dumber, for sure. But he may have been the most effective Senate leader in my lifetime. It's just too bad he was working for the dark side. He was Darth Vader with more political acumen and less burned skin. Until now. I'm sorry, that was wrong. The point is, he's the only senator I've ever seen to stop a president from appointing a Supreme Court judge during his presidency. It's diabolical. It's amazing. He is an evil genius. He is literally the reason why the Supreme Court supremely sucks right now. But this story is not done. It's just getting started, people. The corruption and the evil dominoes that fall from this story are a mile long. Get ready. This is going to be a wild one, guys. Now, back to what I was saying. He was found on June 14th. 3 days later, his wife, Elaine Chao, the first Asian American woman ever appointed to the president's cabinet in history and the longest serving cabinet member since World War II, and former Secretary of Transportation who resigned after the J6 attack, flew to Beijing, where she met with Wu Ken, the president of the Chinese People's Institute of Foreign Affairs. The two discussed U.S.-China relations and other issues of common interest. Quote, unquote. Listen. She's not a diplomat. She's not in foreign affairs. She is not in the government. She's just the wife of a upside down turtle. That's it. Good and decent people of YouTube, if that wasn't shady enough, Chao then met with China's Vice President Han Zheng. The Chinese government did not say whether Chao's visit was connected to any official U.S. government business, because that would be illegal. By the way, we'll continue. Han said both leaders, quote, agreed on a new vision of a constructive China-U.S. relationship of strategic stability, providing important strategic guidance for future bilateral relations. What do you mean? I'm trying my hardest here, guys. I know that this is a solemn occasion and this deserves deference. What the hell are you talking about when you say the Chinese government didn't say whether Chao's visit was connected to any official U.S. government business? And then the next words are, we agreed to a new vision of constructive China-U.S. relationship for strategic ability, providing blah, 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 blah for future bilateral relations. The fuck are you talking about? Who are you talking to? How can both be true? Watch this.
I don't think enough people recognize how weird this entire story is. Just 3 days after Republican Senator Mitch McConnell was found unconscious in his home, his wife, Elaine Chao, was meeting with the Vice President of China. Now keep in mind, she has no current government position at all, but Chinese state media was posting photos with her stating they're looking forward to strengthening US-Chinese relations. It's been 3 weeks now, Senator Mitch McConnell is still hospitalized. Nobody knows anything about what's going on with him, and nobody knows where his wife is either. Senator Mitch McConnell is 84 years old. He has a very long history of health episodes. There was a video previously recorded of him collapsing while he was being interviewed. Instead of flying directly home, while her husband is in potentially a vegetative state, she's meeting with the Vice President of China as a private citizen. Keep in mind the Logan Act prohibits private citizens from meeting with foreign government officials involving matters with the U.S. So far, aside from vague statements from his office stating he's improving in the hospital, there's no statements regarding his wife just being overseas right now, seemingly not caring, none of that.
Good and decent people, I've got to just say this before we go on to the levels of corruption that you're about to find out from Chao, and really why she's leaving right now. Why the heck is she leaving to go to China when her husband is brain dead and shell up since the 14th of June? He's in the hospital now, upside down on his shell, not speaking, not even eating cabbage. This is ridiculous. Number one, she's corrupt. And we're going to get into this. I swear to God, you have no idea. But number two, she doesn't want to answer any questions. She doesn't want anybody to know that we have a brain dead senator laying somewhere for a month now. Because in Kentucky, where the amphibious senator is from, they just had a state level race where Gary Clemens secured a decisive victory in the Kentucky Senate District 37 special election, winning 72.6% of the vote against a Republican. 72.6. The reason why they don't want to announce that the senator can't do his job is because the governor may have to appoint somebody like Gary Clemens. And that would change the entire outlook of the Senate right now. That's why they're hiding this brain-dead body in a half shell. I just want to make sure you understand that. And that's why she's absconded with his files. Let me get to that. It's been said that Chao carried her husband's files with her over there to China, which has been strongly denied, of course, by her, because that would definitely be a violation of the Logan Act, right? But she has a long track record of abusing her position to enrich her family business. 2017. Look at this. Corruption. 2019. Corruption. Right from Newsweek. 2021. Say it with me. Corruption. Using personal funds to take care of errands and whatnot around the house. Because, of course, she's a Republican. This is what they do. Interesting side note, by the way, beyond just years of corruption, her sister died. Her younger sister died in a freak accident while trapped in her Tesla in 2024. It's not funny. That is not funny. It's a human being we're talking about. I think it's ironic that the trap that killed her is also the one that got rid of U.S. aid and is now killing hundreds and thousands and millions of other kids around the world. So excuse me if I notice the irony of her being killed in a Tesla. But suspicious, in suspicious ways. Check this out. You see here, the U.S. authorities have declared that Angela Chao, the younger sister of Elaine Chao, the wife of U.S. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, might not have died by accident or suicide, but possibly in a homicide. What are we doing? You have the amphibian brain dead since the 14th of June. Your sister has died, and now police are saying that it's it could be homicide? And you're off absconding in China? What is going on here, people? We need to know what's happening. Also, today, China fired a nuclear-capable test missile. I'm just saying.
China has launched a nuclear-capable long-range missile in the Pacific Ocean, just hours after Australia struck a landmark defence deal with Fiji. Let's go live to federal politics reporter Connor McGovern in Canberra. Connor, this is a huge development.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Sophie. China confirming just in the last hour or so that it has launched that submarine-launched missile and struck its intended target in the, quote, high seas of the Pacific Ocean. It's understood the ballistic missile has nuclear capabilities, but Beijing is adamant the exercise, it was conducted in accordance with the international law and was not directed against any specific country.
I told you this was a crazy one. This is a wild ride. Buckle up. We got a few more stories to go. I'm going to try to make it quick. But this story isn't just about the ridiculous corruption of Elaine Chao. This isn't just about the fact that we have a U.S. senator rolled over onto his shell, brain dead, since the June 14th, and no one to take his place because the people in his own state no longer want to vote Republican anymore. There's not just that. But now the story gets even thicker. Daddy Vladdy called his best little boy over the weekend for a 90-minute chat about Ukraine after a hellish week of bombing Kyiv, killing hundreds of civilians. After being hit where it hurts in and around Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Crimea by Ukrainian Flamingo drones, taking out priceless oil and gas refineries and depots and tanker ships. And today, what do you know? Putin is threatening Poland again. What a coinky-dink, YouTube, huh? And you just know that is going to hang over the upcoming NATO summit like the smell from the father-in-chief's diapers. And now, the Mango Mussolini is headed straight to the NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey himself for a meeting with their common pal and fellow dictator, Erdogan. Yeah. Turns out the idea is that he plans to restore the fighter jets that he himself had banned amid concerns that giving Turkey the jets could allow Russia to learn about their stealth technology. Woo! It just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better. Everybody's pockets are getting lined while we at home are under threat from a guy who sees us as ants. That's what's happening. Okay? Yeah. That's fucked up. And you're kind of wondering, well, what does this have to do with Chao and everything else? Well, the big idea here is that we're trading secrets with dictators while declining to sign the USMCA, the trade agreement with our partners, supposedly Canada, because of their closeness to China. And Chao is there right now as they're launching nuclear-capable missiles long-range into the Pacific Ocean. Look, people. Just 6 hours ago, in a now deleted Facebook post, HuffPost claimed that the senator continues his recovery. So why today? That means that they kept his true condition on ice, pun intended, from the public for an entire 3 weeks. Now confirming this evening what we already knew, that Mitch has been cold turtle soup for weeks. And as usual, the people were not informed. Congress was deceived. Votes were missed, etc., etc. Yeah, that's where we are. As a matter of fact, in the Oval Office daily ball washing session today, you know, the one that Trump loves to do every day because he can't get it up anymore from Melania, well, it turns out that his favorite fake Texan, Ted Cruz, was slurping so hard that he promised him a potential nomination for SCOTUS. Ted Cruz for SCOTUS. That's the Supreme Court of the United States. Holy shit, man.
But he said, remember we did the joint rally outside in Washington. We had a big crowd. And the media was saying, will it ever end? I said, it will, but not yet. But it ended. But then it came together better than ever before. He's done a wonderful job as a senator, highly respected. In fact, somebody said, would you ever appoint him to the United States Supreme Court? Because he's a brilliant lawyer, Ted. They said, well, he's the only one I can think of that's going to get 100 votes. All Republicans will vote for him. All Democrats will vote for him because they want to get him the hell out of the Senate. No, if I was having a hard time with getting the votes, I would appoint Ted Cruz. I get 100%, a guarantee.
This is where we are, people. This is where we are. This is the story. It's not just a one guy turned over turtle with his tongue hanging out and a piece of lettuce on the pillow. It's about what they're doing to the seat. It's about what they're doing to the seat. And you, Kentucky, need to stand up. There's not much you can do about what's happening in China. But if you get her out of there, meaning you put someone else in this seat who can actually have a little bit of power and some say, you might help all of us. We need you. And as a final note, since we're already steeped in conspiracies, I'll leave you with this. Missing Congressman Tom Keene suddenly came back to life after months of unanswered questions and rumors about his prolonged absence. Coincidence? I think not.
I entered the hospital for some testing. I did not believe that this would result in a long-term stay. I was given the diagnosis of depression. Now, when people hear the word depression, many people simply feel it means feeling sad. But depression is so much more than that. It is physical. It is emotional. And until you experience it yourself, it is difficult to fully understand.
You have the news. Hopefully, it was done in a way that was dignified. If not, who gives a fuck? The time to fight is now.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.
That was the Political Drain podcast, which can be heard on www.groovechillradio.com/political-drain and can be viewed on the Political Drain YouTube channel anytime. Once again, thank you for listening to Groove Chill as we resist fascism in any form, pursue democracy, peace, and love.